We are gonna cross the entire Temagami region from south to north. This is the largest area of interconnected waterways in the world. Insulated your bins?
Yeah.
Advanced bushcraft maneuver, bud.
So this might be the one and only day I get to wear this thing.
What's this, bud? Huh? Always keep them a little stoned. Good boy. Good boy. Hey everybody, we are here at Magagamasi Lake, and me, Xandar Budnick, Max Budnick, Nate Smith, and North are ready to head off on an epic adventure. We are gonna cross the entire Temagami region from south to north. We got a lot of interesting stuff in front of us, a lot of remote areas to go through where there's very little knowledge. So we're gonna be following the Toboggan, which are the traditional routes. So these trails and these routes have been used ever since the glaciers left. So they're 8,000 years old, and we're gonna try to basically poke our way through this wilderness area. There's a few things we don't really understand because the areas are remote and we can't get too much info on them. For example, a large stretch on a sturgeon. It's been a really warm year. Is the river gonna be frozen solid enough? How close are we going to be able to get to the base of the rapids before we have to get into the bush and bushwhack to a portage trail, because if the ice is not frozen well, it might not be frozen up to the base of those rapids. It could force us to have to head into the woods and bushwhack. Who knows, right? We're gonna get what we get. But first off, it seems like a beautiful day. There's a little bit of warm weather in the forecast for tomorrow, but today is good. We're sitting at a -13. It's about 11:30 right now, and from here it looks like the traveling conditions are pretty good. Our biggest concern is going to be slush out there. If you hit slush, our toboggans are going to get bogged down, our snowshoes are going to get bogged down, and so we're going to try to avoid slush at all costs. But we had some cold weather, it firmed up. So the Temagami region, for anybody that's not familiar with the Temagami region of Northern Ontario, this is the largest area of interconnected waterways in the world. So there is more water which can be accessed via creeks, rivers, short portage trails, and there's probably more water here than land. So this majority of this route is going to be following frozen lakes and rivers. We're gonna have to deal with going up rapids. We're gonna have to deal with bushwhack portages. We're gonna have to winch up cliffs at the base of waterfalls, and it is gonna be some very beautiful country. Got my dog North here. This is only his second winter. He's not quite 2 yet, but he had a little sled dog practice last winter. Hopefully he remembers how to do things, and I'm super excited to head out with these boys and hopefully crush a successful expedition if all goes well. Yeah, so far so good. With these freight toboggans we have, they're kind of narrow and they're all spread out, and they fit into your snowshoe print. So you kind of break trail for them as you go, and they're long so they don't really sink in, so you're not snow plowing so much. So a good way to travel. And the traditional also way to travel type of toboggan, the traditional style toboggan, actually comes from Algonquian word, which sounds very similar. So that's why we got these. I usually use pulks, but figured for this trip, I mean, why mess with the tried, trusted, and true way to travel in this country? So anyways, feeling pretty good. Beautiful day. Probably gonna get a sunburn though. Slush. We're just hitting some bad slush here. Real morale buster. Dumping sweat. North doesn't like walking into the slush any more than we do. North, come on! Walking through the slush. North is not used to it, and his feet go in and kind of get wet, and he gets scared that he's like breaking through the ice or something. It's not really cold out, like he would be fine, but and then the bottom of his sled keeps getting iced up. So I'm gonna have to pull it through this slush here, scrape it off for him. But there isn't an end in sight to the slush, so we're feeling good, making good time. But now things have taken a change for the worse. We're only about halfway down the lake too, unfortunately. We're through the slush up where Xandar is. Man, this is real hard, tough going. Looks like Xandar made it through the slush. I don't know if I have time to try to scrape this off and get North to agree to pulling in this slush. I'm sure he will be by the end of the trip, but if you can't tell, he's a little unsure. Look, he's trying to smell if it's ice or water. So I'm gonna haul through both sleds through the slush, and hopefully we won't have wasted too much time at the end of the day. But that's how it goes. Look at these f***ing beauties out here. Oh, this is crazy. All our shoes are soaked. We are all have no choice but to go through an absolute slush hellhole. Woo. Yeah. You all right? It's so hard, eh, bud? Yeah, Nate, I think we should give me some more weight, bud. I think you have too much weight. Hey? Maybe. Yeah. Did you just see what happened there? Yeah. It's like yours weighs more than me and North. Well, I guess mine is more spread out like that, but... I was going to just hand bomb it. I was just going to eat the powder.
Yes, dude, that's the slush I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's 4:30 now, so it's getting dark around 5. We don't have a ton of time. Beautiful evening, probably, I don't know, probably about -15 out, but we saw a nice little bay off to one side, and we think we're just gonna tuck in there, be out of the wind. There should be some nice standing dead trees for wood, and we'll probably end up just setting up right on the ice. So yeah, basically time to make camp. We didn't make it as far as we wanted to make it today, but we did make it about just under 6 kilometers. So we wanted to get to the end of this lake. So, you know, we were basically about 3 clicks off, but we didn't get on the water, on the ice till noon. We hit some slush and stuff, so hopefully we can make that up. But it's better to maybe end a bit early and get up a bit earlier and get into a rhythm like that. So anyways, yeah, just gonna haul over there and see if there's a spot to camp. So. We got the fire going and we're just drying some stuff up. We got some stuff hung up here, and dinner tonight is moose stew. It's the moose stew that Tori and I made a little while back. So I just vacuum sealed a bunch of it, and so I vacuum sealed it, and then I just put the vacuum sealed bag into the pot on the stove to slowly melt it. So it'll slowly melt in the vacuum sealed bag, and we can even like boil it, get it hot in there, and pour it out. So we won't even have dishes. Well, we will have our dishes to do, but we won't have to clean the pot. So all for that. Here's Nate. Nate, you have anything to say?
I'm tired.
Just using my cold steel SRK made with CPM 3V steel. But the best steel you could ask for, if you ask me.
Wicked.
Enough?
Yeah, that's great.
Sure?
That's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, put some like basil in or something.
Nice.
Most of all, just cut up steak.
It's delicious. Seriously, Jim.
Thank you. Tomorrow's supposed to be some weird warm weather, so hopefully that doesn't make the slush worse. It probably will, though, I don't know. So we're gonna have to just like play it by ear and try not to die out there. Tell me when.
When?
That's what we're heading out into. It's a little ominous. I didn't know it was supposed to snow this much.
No, this is cool. Yeah, no doubt.
Almost whiteout conditions. We've got to be careful because we got to pick up a portage trail that comes out at the base of basically a rapid or where there's current. So we don't want to be venturing onto thin ice. Wherever there's current, the ice usually is non-existent or minimum not as thick. So we just want to be careful that you know, we're not going to be hitting that kind of stuff. So we're just going to keep our wherewithal with us and make sure we get to shore before that part. heading down that way.
Wait, we don't want to trip Nate. Yeah, it's for climbing.
You should have seen North's one, man. It was like literally this thick, just all slush on the bottom. Yeah, they really get slushed up more easily, eh?
I don't get it. Like, is it the plastic? Yeah. Just like has little bits of ridges in it?
Must be, maybe not as slick or something. Feels like we're getting almost a little bit of rain right now. It's a mild day. It's made things more challenging, deeper snow, stickier conditions. I had to bust out my rain jacket because it's gone from drizzle, freezing rain to on and off, from rain to just freezing rain. It's making the snow so heavy, and every step I take, any snow on top of my snowshoes weighs 1,000,000 pounds. You can see all through here, right, all in there, all up through there, that's all really thin ice. My topo map shows that there's an old trail that bypasses all of this here. So that's what I'm scouting out right now. Looks like I'm lucky. I've actually picked up the trail here. But here it is, old road, old logging road. It looks good here, boys. Yeah, there's a couple more like that. So we're trying this bypass route. We're worried that the other Portage route, it skips back on land and onto the river, and we're worried there's too much current in this section of the river. So we've tried to follow basically what looks like an old logging road that would bypass everything. But there's a lot of down trees, doesn't look like it's been used much. And it's looking like it might be a real slog. A couple glum faces over here. Well, we're hauling the sleds through. Then one or two guys will go ahead, break trail with the snowshoes, saw off sticks, come back, grab the sled. So slow and steady wins the race, but we're not trying to go slow, that's the thing.
We're trying to go fast, not steady. How to use this thing. Oh, dude. Oh, this is not it at all. This is the lake beside it. Oh. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you checked.
Yeah, we are not there. We are in the wrong spot. We are very much in the wrong spot.
Oh, really? What,
Yeah.
so we just should keep following? Or is this just like the trail's the wrong trail?
Wrong trail.
Ooh, that's not good.
No, it's not good at all. We are at these small little lakes.
Did we miss a cutoff?
You must have.
I was a little worried about that, to be honest with you.
Should have been looking earlier.
Well, I guess so. We broke all this trail for nothing?
We broke all this trail for nothing.
You gotta be kidding me. Max just doing up the last little bit of wood here. stew again. Does that look like a decent amount? Fun. Good morning. It is day 3 of our adventure. We're still camped here last night on what is an old skidder trail, basically, that we thought would lead us into Sylvester Lake. At least the map showed it would, but it didn't. So I mean, probably has not been a wise decision to go this way. Anyways, just getting some more water boiled here. Melting snow takes a while. I don't know if we're going to fill up all our water bottles, or maybe do that once we get down to Sylvester Lake. But at least get a few bottles of melted snow going for the time being. This is almost dead, eh?
What?
Yeah.
What the hell? That burns so fast.
It really does.
And that jammed.
You know?
The lifeblood of the day right there.
We think we heard a cry, a lone wolf call, which is pretty cool. And the trail looks pretty good out there. Before I had the internet on my phone, I was like a voracious reader. I'm just putting this, it's called Musher's Secret. I'm just gonna put that on North's pause because we had some like freezing rain yesterday, and it's not cold out, but you put it on just for abrasion. So now that the snow is abraded, and I do have dog sled booties for him too. Good boy. North gets a treat. He doesn't like getting that paw sap put on very much, so he gets a treat. This is a slab of fish, frozen fish. So day's clearing up, temperature's dropping. We think we found a route using a drone. Well, we gotta get the toboggans down this extremely steep hill. So I think it's gonna work great.
I think it'll be good. I'll just like
There.
come down with it.
We'll do a full wrap just to be safe, because I feel safer. You know, with a half wrap, I'm starting to feel not safe. I would just yeah, you guys maybe can guide the rope as it feeds out to make sure it doesn't start tipping or something. But like feel this, Nate. Look at that. All right, let her go.
I guess so, eh?
Let her go. Push her down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Max, you ready? Yeah. I'm worried it's gonna head for that tree. Going down fast.
That's just a stretch in the rope. See that, guy?
Nice.
Oh yeah. No, I
Got it.
Yeah. North, leave it. North, leave it.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
How did that work from your side? Good? Whoa, Max went down. Hold up. Keep her coming. Halfway. Okay, a little more slack. Okay, keep her coming. All right, that's probably good. Well, we just did that. We just kind of basically put our heads together here and thought it out, and just lowered each toboggan down the hill on a rope, and in pretty good time too. So now the plan is we follow a trail that we broke this morning trying to scout out, and we get back to the canoe Portage trail, and thankfully we skirted some questionable ice. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, but we still got a lot of work ahead of us before we're on a flat frozen lake again. So no time like the present.
Oh, I've been long gone, wanna talk to you. I've been hustling for so long. Oh, I've been thinking about the past, and it keeps me going on. Oh, and I can't stop, no, I don't stop. It's only I can see.
We are dealing with some sketchy ice conditions. This has been pushing to be the warmest winter in Canadian history. And stuff we thought was going to be iced up is just open. So it's making things more challenging. Like, you know, typically you'd be able to walk right across here, but you can see that stretch of open water there. Then the ice is sketchy up to here. So we don't really even know if we could have come that way or if the way we came was necessary. And then Xandar went and broke trail down to the end of this portage. So we've cut through the bush to the portage successfully. But the put-in is all open water because there's just a little too much current there. So I don't know if the bit of a thaw too might have rotted away some of the ice as well, because it was +2 yesterday. It's supposed to be above freezing for a bit today too, which is just crazy. So all we can really do is go down, get there, and then continue along in the woods, but hopefully it's flat. You can only do so much out here till like Mother Nature slams the door, but we're gonna keep trying and hopefully we get into some better stuff. But you know, other than just deciding not even to do the trip at all and hope that next winter is colder kind of thing, there's not really anything else we can do if we can't make the ice freeze, right? So but we're gonna keep going. But it's like basically the work that we just did, and then this, we thought, okay, here we go, we're done the work, and it's like, oh my god, it's like another never-ending gong show after that. So it's kind of discouraging. Well, we're just two-manning Snow Super Sticky again. And we're up on a canyon wall and there's a rapid down there. So going's tough. Uh-oh. Whoopsie doozers. I'll just try to haul the out of there, I guess. That was just one right off, eh? I think maybe we need 2 people down there.
That's pretty good. Actually, that was not nearly as heavy as I thought it was. No, you guys got right.
I've been long gone for so damn long, so don't tell me that you have to go. Will you still be waiting for me? Tell me, cause I gotta know. See, I can't stop, no, I don't stop. It's only I can see. If I die trying to turn the tide, y'all remember me. See, Mama told me we all bleed the same sun. Oh, prejudice and pride will make you change. Just always remember where you come.
Oh no. We finished the portage trail to find a ton more open water. Brutal. North is scouting. But look at that. This is the put in here, but the water's moving too much. And around the corner I spy open water there too, so none of this is safe. I guess we just get everything here and then scout, eh, Nate? Like, you see that? 2 hard chops and I'm through. But then at first, it's always sketchier near shore because there's any runoff, any thaw. But then I check it, and like right there, I'm touching a bottom layer. But just this slush ice, I mean, it's like that. So there's a layer of water in between 2 layers of ice, and we're not even breaking through the first one. So I think we're like laughing here. This is good. Yeah, I see what you're saying here now. Like you see down there, all open, like over near Shore, Slush, Sketchy. Where would we even get to? The Portage is here. I think this is just what has to be done, man. There's where we just came from. Right along there. Got open water there. And sketchy ice and open water there, but good ice in between. Just wherever there's current, sometimes stuff never freezes up if it's strong enough, and especially in a warmer year. And there she is. Oh, it's beautiful. More beautiful than I ever remembered.
Can't wait to see our tracks on GPS.
Dude,
Swerving everywhere.
yeah, I know. Not one track on this lake, though, eh? Looks like the ice isn't bad over there. Hey, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
At the outlet.
Yeah.
Dude, I just think there's a lot of current coming through here. North is really stressed out. He's getting too hot. Makes you feel like maybe we can still make it, eh, Xander?
But I think we could get across this lake and then some.
I think we should, but yeah, it's gonna be work to get to here still. So just walking across here in between two very open stretches of water, plenty of ice, no issues. There it is, Sylvester Lake. I wouldn't doubt if 2:30, eh? So we can make it to the end of this lake, eh?
Let's definitely do that.
Yeah.
Maybe a break here and then we'll go.
Yeah. The Narrows, there's some current between Sylvester and Wolf. So we might have to cut over the right if it's anything like this. But I'm not 100% sure if there is current there, right? Just crossed Sylvester Lake. This is the channel in between Wolf Lake and Sylvester Lake, and you can see some movement there. This year, warm year, much more open water, I'd imagine, than usual, which means we can't really cross over to the other side to a spot where it might be a little easier to get into Wolf Lake, but we need to get into Wolf Lake. We're at the end of Sylvester. We just walked across it, beautiful conditions, and so this means we have to go through that. It's about a little under maybe 175 meters, and bushwhacking with the toboggans, which is among one of the harder outdoor activities around. So anyways, no time like the present. Well, finding our way through the bush here, doesn't appear we took the best route. Basically trying to go over a point through the bush, bushwhacking to avoid the thin ice. And it's proving to be a little more challenging than anticipated, and really pretty in here. We did it.
We did it.
We're at Wolf Lake. That's what you do when you hit the Wolf Lake. It's like 3 layers of slush here. Tomorrow we have a long way to go because, you know, on this trip in total is, you know, I counted 137 kilometers, and yeah, we have a long way to go, and we've only made it, like, we're supposed to be averaging 12 kilometers a day, and we've made it like 12.5 kilometers, and it's been 3 days. Got a little Muskoka roastery coffee here. Really hits the spot, I'll tell you. Alright, the coffee is steeping and brewing. You want some for your thermos too, eh, bud? Yeah. I'll just boil this full thing. We woke up at 5 a.m. today, so a little less sleep. But we're hoping that means that, you know, we can maybe get on a bit of a different schedule, utilize more of the daylight, and have a little bit more time when it's light out at camp. Thanks, North. North is learning his teeth in these parts. So right now I'm just rubbing some wax on North's sled. This sled has seen a few kilometers. My old dog Buck used to haul it. He hauled it across Baffin Island and a bunch of other trips. And just this material picks up ice, but because there's more scratches in it, it seems to be picking up more slush. And as soon as you get slush stuck to it, that slush freezes, and the sled basically becomes useless because you're dragging a big ball of ice along the bottom that doesn't slide, and it's super heavy. So we're going to try giving it a wax down Max brought some wax, so Max with the wax. You can see how it's kind of filling in that crack. Sorry, Slush. We got a full house, bud. No slushes allowed! And explain how this is called hoarfrost. Sex work is work.
H-O-A-R, Jim.
So yeah, we're coming up to some open water, and especially again because it's been a warmer year, a lot less is firmed up at the base of the rapids there, which means that we have to bushwhack just to get to a proper trail. So we don't even know if we can get to the side where the Portage trail is, unfortunately. But we're gonna play it safe. So just to give you an idea of this warm year that we're having, normally all this would be frozen and we could probably just walk over this bank into this eddy into there. But now all this is unsafe ice here, and so it's forcing us to walk all the way around through lumpy boulders and everything to even get to where it would normally start, and then it's no cakewalk either. Freaking crevasse here. Don't put your snowshoe into there. Yikes. All right, mush. As you can see here, we're using a four-man system to get up this stupidly steep and narrow gulch, we're gonna call it, from Wolf Lake into, I believe, Dewdney, and then we're gonna continue on. But this part's by far the hardest. So what we're doing, 3 guys in front all have harnesses, 1 guy in the back pushing, and North running around having a ball. It's good to be a dog sometimes. Oh no, amigo. We're just scouting the end of the Portage trail. Usually, this is the put-in. Usually that would be frozen, or at least where Xandar was. And then if you look way out here, there's like a gray area there. There's a narrow, so there's a bit of current there, and that would definitely be frozen solid, but we're not even gonna be able to walk over that. So I think what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna just see what kind of ice we're working with over here. How many more narrows are around there, Xandar?
There's that narrows.
Yeah.
You can take a look at the map. I think we could squeeze along the shoreline on the.
That's actually maybe not a bad idea, dude.
Yeah, just bushwhack that.
Yeah, maybe. More. Didn't go through. Well, I'm just checking the ice. We're hoping we can get through this narrows up here. These guys are letting me be the guinea pig because I have the axe. So we have 3.5, 4 inches here of slush ice. Then we have a layer of water, and then we have what's probably the black ice underneath. See that there? That's all sketchy ice. So right here we got like maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inches of black ice, but I can feel the bottom. So if we spread out here, it should be okay. Sketchy ice, but safe passage through here. So yeah, we're saved, but there's another big narrows coming up, and usually wherever there's a narrows means there could be current. That's the other narrows. We were worried that would be open. We were worried over there would be open, but it looks like if we stay right, we'll be good. We're good to go, guys! Well, on closer inspection, this doesn't look too bad right around this point though, guys. And then stay right by that. Trash ice, dude. Right here. We don't feel like walking over that, which means we have to go around. Well, the good news is that the whole narrows isn't trash ice.
Coming through this narrows here, I get close to this rock and I broke through. I didn't get a soaker, but just look at how deep it is. But I think it's just because there's current here and it's close to the rock. Everything else feels pretty thick.
How's it going, boys?
It's doing real well. Could use another coffee. Other than that, beautiful day.
Yeah.
If you don't break here, I'm falling.
Well, we made it through the sketchy ice and narrows. And look at this. The world is our sardine. I mean oyster. Damn it, I always screw that up. There is Chiniguchi Lake. I made it. We're probably gonna camp right there, but everything's taking way longer than anticipated, and it's because all these initial portages, again, the takeout, first of all, we're going up an elevation, up a series of waterfalls, so it's uphill. Second of all, where we're taking out to start the trail, there's water there, there's no ice. When we get to the put-in, there's water there, there's no ice. We're having to come up with all kinds of ideas, crossing thin ice in between 2 stretches of open water, bushwhacking over points, etc., etc. Anyways, I'm gonna whip my toboggan down this hill. Nailed it. Good distance. Good distance. Yeah! Nice! This is Chiniguchi Lake. I'm gonna go back and grab North's Toboggan. Maybe you guys just cruise the shore till you find a place that doesn't have a ton of slush, yeah?
dishes.
I have Thanksgiving dinner. I have steak and potatoes. I think I'm gonna do steak and potatoes. Okay, well, what is this, you may ask? This is a tip up I brought. We have something a little interesting in here I'm gonna try out now. I gotta drill a couple holes. We need to take water. So I figured, well, I got my eye on it and I'm sawing up some wood, why not drop a lure? So you may be asking, but Jim, a fish just sitting there, nothing's gonna bite that. It's gotta be moving. You gotta be sitting there jigging. Well, not this lure. This is a robotic minnow lure. That's right, a robotic minnow lure. So it kind of moves around for 45 minutes. There's a little propeller on the front. Sunny times, ladies and germs. So I'm going to drop that down and see if we can't hook into a pike or a walleye. Either or. It's working. It automatically turns on. 45 seconds. It'll be just off the bottom. See the first layer, and then here's the second. Not a lot of ice for this north at this time of year, but there's still a good amount of ice. Oh yeah, we got one. Yeah, lake trout, baby! Woo! Look at that! Yeah! And a laker too! Wasn't even hooked that well. And look, it's a good size.
Yeah.
Look at that. Not a beaut. Nice laker. Shot of it. So obviously the tip up was worth bringing out here, right?
Definitely.
Leave it north.
Beautiful.
We're gonna eat that.
Yeah, 100%.
I brought Old Bay too.
Great.
You really excited?
Yeah, I am excited.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
After a long day on the trail, this is going to taste super, super good.
Chiniguchi lake trout. North. North. That was the most buttery, delicious lake trout I've ever had in my entire life. Up there with the best two, I would say, ever.
Well, it's just after 6 a.m. and it is coffee time in our tent as we get prepped for another long day out there. But nothing gets you going like a big old pot of black coffee.
Just checking the weather. I can get a weather location update here on my Garmin InReach, and we thought it was going to be, you know, minus 30 or minus 25 this morning, and now it's like minus 3. And so, you know, we rely on the cold weather, and in the days to come we're looking at like highs of 0 and minus 1. And you know, with those temperatures can come freezing rain, sleet, a lot of ugly things, and also just ice doesn't freeze nearly as fast when there's moving water. It needs to be really cold, dramatically increasing the amount of time and elbow grease it takes to do these things. Yeah, it's great. So just beast moding right through the middle of it. That was my strategy. Muskoka roastery. A little creamer in there. Delish.
Oh yeah, right there.
Good morning.
Good morning, Xander.
Nice day.
I know it is. North loved this bow bed, by the way, guys. Slept here pretty much all night. North, come here. Right now.
Turn it. You want to do it 180.
Exhausted. Come here, bud. What's this?
These aren't really meant for keeping his paws warm, but for preventing abrasion.
Good boy. Sit. He's never worn these before. He's gonna walk all funny. Look how he's gonna walk. Come on, North. What's this? So far, not so good. Come on, I'll help you from the slush. Come on. Come on. Come on, you got it. It's just normal. He doesn't like it.
Alright.
Well, he'll have to get used to them.
He's doing alright.
Yeah.
Well, it appears that that rain and wind we had yesterday might have really screwed us.
North's toboggan won't move anywhere. Look at this slush. Just water with all the freezing rain and wet snow. It's just put a lot of pressure on the ice, and all the cracks are just pushing water up. Everybody else is way ahead waiting for me, and I can't. North's toboggan, every 3 steps I have to clean it off, and it's just pulling like an absolute log to disaster. You just can't go anywhere. Huge falls. You have to really try.
Come on, North. Come on, boy. I can barely even pull North Toboggan on my own. Go on. Up, 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 up. Oh, oh my God. We're Come on, go on. Go on. Ah, good boy. Good boy, come on. Come on, North. Come on, North, come on. Come on, North. I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like might have almost just broken through the ice, or at least a slush layer. Everyone's way ahead of me, and just because I'm heavier than everybody, every step is going into the slush. And on top of that, North sled is getting, for whatever reason, is getting super easily iced up. On a fun note, this is the campsite that Ted and I camped at one time in the summer.
Wow, there's tons of smallmouth in here. Is the oatmeal in this one?
But like, what the hell is that? Like, I don't know, man. Hopefully there's another layer under there, or did I step onto the ground? But that's crazy. That was one step. And now I gotta go back and get North. So yeah, it's super windy and snowing today. And everybody's ahead of me breaking trail, so I'm gonna let them go, but I'll just follow their trail. But it's pretty sketchy traveling conditions today. And if we're just barely inching along, it's a little concerning. So I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly here, but I'm gonna have to figure it out. Well, that worked. North made it. But then he couldn't make it anymore because he. Oh, fuck. Oh my God! What the f? Crazy, man. North couldn't make it anymore. He made it as far as he could, but then he hit the slush again, and his toboggan is like impossible to pull when there's just a huge ball of slush on the bottom. So I walked ahead and he was following me, then he got stuck, and then I ran into that gong show of almost breaking through the ice. Everybody's way ahead of me, and now when I'm already so far behind, I gotta turn around and go get the dog. Crazy. Yeah, I just have my ice scraper in my pocket and having to flip his sled over, scrape it off, flip mine over, scrape it off. And I already have 2 soakers, and we've only made it not even a kilometer today. So yeah, terrible conditions, and it's too bad because this lake was supposed to be a spot where we could make good time. So, you know, with the traveling conditions we had yesterday, we could make good time on the lake, but things changed overnight, unfortunately. And it's looking like now that we have this to contend with, there's no way that we can make it to Gauganda in 12 days. Like, it'd probably take, like, in this type of weather, 18, 20 days, 16 at the very least. We don't have that kind of time, so I think we're gonna have to, probably the other guys ahead of me, they're probably not breaking through as much as me, but they're probably gonna agree with me that we're gonna have to switch things up. Come on, bud. What are you doing back here? Well, it's not even bad, but North is also kind of scared. You gotta go, North. Come on, boy. Come on. North is scared of the slush. We don't like slush either. Come on, you got over this fear, bud. You got over this fear. Hey. Come here, let's go. It's not even that bad. It's just not even moving from this. That's crazy. Well, I'm just gonna keep plugging along like this. Hopefully I catch up to those guys soon. I have enough stuff I can survive out here, so not too worried about that, but way behind. North's in the slush. I caught up with these guys and gave them my pity story at why I'm ruining everyone's day, and gave this another scrape. It's really hard to get it out. I'm gonna take a second and wax on, wax off. If you can remember that, you were probably born in the 80s. Can you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, were you born in the 80s?
Yeah, 88.
I guess you were, yeah. Yeah, anyways, I'm not that old, eh? Well, got some more open water here, but it looks like there's a pretty good route just to hop over there so we don't have to get our bathing suits on. I think this is the way me and my brother went. Yeah, this is where I caught that fish, 100%. This is exactly where I was worried about. No worries though, eh?
Beautiful seeing the open water next to the snow.
Yeah, man. After the last gong show of me breaking through the ice, etc., etc., we've decided that we're going to change up our route and do something that is humanly possible in the amount of time we have. But we're super excited because it might put us on some decent lake trout waters and give us an extra day that we can take off to sort of just rest our bones, because we've been really giving her. So yeah, we're gonna be exploring some new territory and doing a big loop. Okay, North, go on. Go on. Going through the narrows here. North is hung up. You made it. Good boy. Good boy. You made it out of the slush. North really likes to keep the pack together, and so I noticed that if I'm leading and I'm out front and somebody else is stopped and back, he'll cut in front of me and block me and wait for the other guy to catch up. It's really cute, and sometimes he might be sucking, he whines a little bit, he's a little bit dramatic. So far so good, I'd say, on this new route. Came through another narrows, so we're off Chiniguchi on another lake I think called McConnell. We're gonna portage into a bay in Chiniguchi. So yeah, change of the route. Very interesting that we're in such a place with so many connected waterways that you can just change your route like that. It's almost like you feel as free as a horse on the open plain here in Temagami, which is the largest area of interconnected waterways in the world. But you know what? We knew coming in that we were going to have these challenges, and they proved to be more time consuming than we really thought, worse than we thought. And you know, our original goal was to get to Uganda, but just not possible in our time. So rejig things, and another amazing route where we're still going to be having to give her just as hard as we have been. Here we go, our portage, right where the trail end. Hopefully Nate and Xandar started breaking trail already. We're just coming through a nice stand of birch here. Headed towards Laura Lake. Trying to see if we can make it to the portage into Laura, or at least to, you know, around there. Before dark. Right now it's looking pretty good. Go on, boy. Go on. Go on. Go on. We're worried about some sketchy ice conditions coming through the narrows here. And it looks like there's some current open water up there. Go on, North. So these guys are held up here. We'll see. Okay, North, go on. Hopefully it's just at this pinch point here. The boys ran into some bad ice right in that pinch point, and they're having it cut over here. Fine?
I mean, it seems fine. As I go through.
So Xander said the ice is fine and they broke through close to shore, or we wouldn't be laughing. You all right?
Well, this is completely open here. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if it's better to be closer to the shore or further away from it.
Okay, I'm gonna get my axe out, I guess. Run into an issue with the ice. Xander was checking it. He broke through in about 2 feet of water there. There's open water back up that way. And then this narrows through here. We're right at a pinch point here, so we're worried. I just checked the ice right here. And it seems thick enough. I mean, I'm standing on it, but we need to walk way out to there. Not far, but we want to play it safe. Usually when somebody breaks through the ice, you're like, let's check it a little more, you know? So I think maybe we can cross. Loads of ice here.
Through the middle?
Yeah. Less snow over here. Significantly less. Nate's just tamping down a spot for a tent. Nate, coffee or tea? Don't care. So we've made it to camp, and we were out there in the wind at the end of the day, so close to where we wanted to get to. Howling wind, sketchy ice. Xander broke through and then powered into a blast. For sure. I have his little ground pad here. For their food. Come on, what's that? Lie down. Lie down. You got more?
Good. Yeah.
Oh. Oh. boats, eh? Ooh. Rough day for old Joe. You know what though? It was bad, but like, it wasn't never ending. You know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the tent, finally. So we've summed it up, and with the conditions and whatnot, we're only really able to make it 7K a day. Today we didn't really deal with much in the way of open water, a little bit though, for sure, but nothing crazy, and yet we were still only able to make it 7K, which is okay, but that's not that much, man. 7K?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't like insanely hard fought. No. But
the deep snow and the slush really slowed us down. Anyways, gonna eat some dinner and sleep hard. Exhausted. Really feeling the exhaustion for sure. Looking forward to a good night's sleep and getting some food in my belly. Look at these, ladies and germs.
Big old moose steaks harvested by yours truly.
That hits the spot. Wow. There you go, Nate.
Heck yeah.
I forgot a fork.
Did you go through the slush? You did. You went through the slush.
Well, I was gonna get up and start tackling the day, but then I had another coffee.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm about to hit my second right now.
Yeah, it's glorious.
Oh my god.
Windy but beautiful out. About 15 foot deep.
Kind of works.
Giving that stick a couple minutes to freeze in. So if we're gonna be not manning something, probably a dead minnow would be the way to go. Just like that. The line will just come through it. Throw some snow here. And then cover it with snow to insulate it. So that won't freeze up on me. I got my stick, my spool down there, elastic here, and bait with a dead stick minnow. Man, I hope we catch something. Well, it's our day off today still, day 6. Pretty windy out. And I just came in for a quick bite to eat. I'm having some trail mix and some pemmican. This is pemmican made with dried pulverized moose meat and a bunch of strawberry, raspberry, blackberry, and blueberry. And I used lard as well. So equal parts dried pulverized berries, dried pulverized moose meat, and lard. Any rendered animal fat will do, but awesome trail food. I think it's pretty delicious if you make it right. From freezing up. It did, look at that. See that? Those boughs left the hole wide open. So if I caught a fish, it wouldn't snap. I need a new minnow. Nope, my minnow's still there. A good idea I thought of is that for fishing these unmanned things when it's a little windy, because we don't have any live minnows, you really have to sit there and actively jig, but it's hard to have time for that when you're winter camping. So we were thinking it'd be good to put a little flag on your stick up here and let it blow around in the wind, which would mimic a moving minnow. Anyways, nothing, no fish, bummer. That last lake trout was a real treat, but I just think this is a bad spot. I think it's just shallow and kind of swampy and not really the right kind of structure here. Never know till you try. I'm gonna leave it out for a couple hours more anyways though.
Nothing yet. A.m. wake up today. There we go. Bacon. Yeah. And there is where North slept. Hey North, it's time to get up, bud. Hey? No? Okay. Good boy. Yeah. You like that, huh? You like that? Yeah, we're going today. I'm sorry, you were bored yesterday, I know. Good boy. Good boy.
I think for some reason you are pals. Right up on him.
No.
All 4 paws are off the ground. North isn't quite at the level where he can tow his sled through some of these trails because of the tight turns. He gets hung up. So I'm just towing his behind mine. Yeah, these toboggans are like 10 feet long. It's super hard to turn them. Oh. This is a long, steady hill. The hill's bad enough, but it's where the big turns come in. That things get really interesting. The turns and the uphills at the same time. You guys broke into here. This is the swamp here that when I was here with Ted last, we couldn't decide whether it was left or right. Turned out it was left, probably flagged. We're gonna try to break trail through here. It's a lot prettier actually in the winter than the mud bog that it is in the summer. In front of me, the trail just turns into an absolute mud quagmire. Look at this.
Dude, you want to just throw our in the canoe and drag it across here?
Ted trying to make it through the mud. So do you want to continue doing that? I think you should stop.
This happened, I'm thinking no.
Yeah, okay.
Way too muddy.
Is those blazes there? No. Well, we're gonna just break trail and kind of scout at the same time here. Just crossing through this swamp, bog, essentially. Well, after the bog, we were faced with another big hill on the Portage into Laurel Lake. So Xandar and I did a double up, basically 2-manning each toboggan. I can see the lake from here, but we have quite a steep hill to get down before we reach it. See here, and the lake's way down there, so serious hill. Beautiful in here though.
So far today, by far the best I've ever done in a day.
There's a set of sled tracks here.
Sorry there, how's it going?
Laurel Lake, bumped into a couple guys that were out here fishing, caught a couple and bombed in their Scandex through deep slush. But it looks like we're doing okay because we're lighter than them. We're not in snowmobiles and the slush isn't so bad. We're hoping as we get out there and you know, even though we've had this warm weather that creates the slush, we're hoping as we get further out that the wind, I don't know, has maybe blown some more of the snow off and some more of that slush is frozen up. We'll see. But anyways, no time like the present. Got to put miles on our boots here. Well, here we are. This is home for the night. Good day of travel today. Did about, banged off about 20K. Just kidding, 8.
And we got to the end of Laura Lake, basically the end, and had to, you know, make it through a little narrows, open water everywhere. So we ended up having to do a little bushwhacking and following what, you know, was an old logging road, and found a good spot on land tonight. A few trees around, really deep snow, so it's tough to get here through the deep snow. We have multiple narrows coming up as well, so we don't really know what to expect. So there's a bunch of sort of question marks around those spots on the map. I think worst comes to worst, we, you know, have to do some never-ending, enraging, and challenging bushwhacking that could set us back, but we could
I get a weather forecast with my inReach. One's a high of 3, low of 0. High of 3 degrees, low of 0, and rain. Thursday, high of 0, low of -10, 80% chance of rain. So like 2 days in a row of rain. Concerning. Getting ready.
Well, as soon as that one passes.
I'm going to be putting on soaking wet boot liners in the very near future. They're hanging from the ceiling there, but we didn't run the fire, so they ain't dry. I did wake up a couple of times in the night thinking about starting the stove, and then realized my lighter was in my pants because I'd left it till it burnt out and my pants were hanging up. But other than pondering about that, I got a great sleep. Sleep time is just very lovely, for sure.
You're the real deal. The real deal, huh? Come on.
I'm in a foot of water right now, and this is concerning because this is what I'm walking on right now. Needless to say, my boots are absolutely soaked. We knew the weather was going to be pretty warm coming into this, but like warm for winter, but then it got way warmer. It's okay, North, you're good, bud. You're good. North doesn't like the slush. He's got a little scared of it, but he's learning. Who can we blame for this, you know? Well, we found a cheat. After discovering thin ice and then wallowing in some of the worst slush imaginable, we picked up an old portage trail that led to a snowmobile trail. Luckily, we were able to find a workaround and cut into the bush. We're gonna follow a snowmobile trail around some of the thin ice and slush. I mean, who knows, we might still hit a lot of slush, we never know, but it's gonna be faster. It's longer in distance, but having to poke around and make sure the ice is safe and the slow going through the slush, not to mention like my boots right now are full of water, so this will be the faster route for sure. Feels kind of like cheating though, not when you're going uphill though. There's no avoiding that.
That's not a great place for a sled.
It's all wet.
Caused by the weird thaw.
Let's pull up where Jim is.
Right here. Nice, nice. Let him straighten it out a bit, and then I'll start giving her.
1, 2, 3.
Nice.
It was like watching it in slow motion. Like as soon as it got over that hump, I was like, maybe it's just gonna go down in the snow. And then I literally heard a splash, like a big giant splash.
Dude, what even is that? Why is that even melted in there? What the f is that, man? What just happened? Well, just when things were seeming like they were easy, Nate's on skis, and so he's skiing down this hill, but it's not very easy, first of all, to ski down a hill on cross-country skis, let alone while trying to wrangle a probably 170-pound toboggan. Well, his toboggan got out of control, crashed over the side bank, whipped down a huge hill through some trees, and dunked in a bog hole of wet, soaking, rotted ice and swamp mud and just basically water, and was like half submerged at the base of a huge hill. Uh-oh. Right. All this would probably typically be frozen, and like look at the ice is melting, and the snow's melting, and the water's coming up, so it's only getting worse. Our put-in is supposed to be there. You know, I can see this being open in a normal year, but all that and sketchy ice around the corner. Our route right now, our new route, follows creeks. So, you know, challenges with bad ice conditions are plaguing us, and they're getting worse. We have rain on the way because it's just this bizarre winter. We checked, of course, the weather. It was like iffy. We thought, well, this couldn't get any worse. Well, sure enough, it has gotten worse.
Flying the drone right now to scout the ice, and it's way worse than we expected.
And it's gotten warmer. I mean, we had minus 25, but it was too short-lived. So we've kind of found a workaround where we picked up a snowmobile trail that comes kind of close to our route, and we think that potentially we can switch up our route again, jump on this snowmobile trail and take it to Wolf Lake. If you remember, when we crossed from Wolf Lake into the lake just north of that, we crossed the snowmobile trail. Well, we think this is the same trail. We're not 100% sure, but that would mean we'd be switching up our route for a second time due to bizarre weather patterns. So yeah, you get what you get when you come out here, but it's the weather and the conditions are turning this into quite an adventure. So we think we might have to do that. I mean, we could beast it through here and just portage around all this water. But there's just a long stretches of narrows and creeks that, you know, are, some of them have portage trails around them. However, the same thing as we were running into coming up the Chiniguchi River is that the put-ins and takeouts that would normally be frozen or frozen close to are going to be wide open, forcing us to spend hours bushwhacking to good ice. And also the ice is rotting, and it's only getting worse right now. And we're in February, so this is just the weirdest winter of my entire life. So we want to make sure before we just start following a snowmobile trail, we want to make sure that this one actually goes where we think it does. Most of them, you know, all more or less lead back to the Magagamasi Lake Road.
So yeah, so you know, very little snowmobile traffic on it, you know, if any, here in the middle of the week. So it's Monday today. But anyways, we think we're gonna figure it out as best we can with the intel we have on our maps, and I think we're going to switch up our route again and just do the best we can, jump onto a snowmobile trail. It's still fun, it's a longer way, but traveling is faster, and it might mean that we actually make it faster in the end. And then at that point, maybe we have to jump back onto Wolf Lake, go back down that big steep portage that we went up, and more or less retrace our footsteps back to Magagamasi. But we'll see, who knows what else might be in our way. But this is just nuts to see this kind of open water here in northern Ontario in the middle of February.
North, are you participating in some shenanigans? What are you doing? What are you doing? You made it!
Oh my god.
Unbelievable, bro. That was amazing. I could never, ever have done that. I can't ski worth shit though.
I don't think I was meant to do that.
That was awesome, dude.
That's the hardest thing I've ever done on these skis, that's for sure.
Nate just towed up that hill hauling this thing the whole way with skis on.
That feels good at the top though.
Maybe the ground would be frozen up, but the only way out, you'd be right at the mouth of the creek.
Just camp right here.
Well, we are back at Wolf Lake. We're gonna take a different way into the lake than we did when we took our way out. Flatter, but trail's not broken, and it's a little longer. Now that we're seeing the weather we're having now and what it's doing to anything where there's water moving, just snow is melting into the creek, and it's rotting whatever ice there is from the bottom, which can, you know, it can still look the same from the top, but the ice will be weaker even though it looks the same. So it's just making conditions sketchier, and we're wondering with our, you know, initial route to Goganda, which included the Sturgeon and Montreal rivers, what those rivers would look like now. Like we could have started traveling on them, and potentially conditions could have deteriorated in a significant way. So probably best that we pulled the ripcord, and nothing you can do about that. It's like sometimes Mother Nature slams the door on you. And yeah, we're gonna basically start going. Xandar has jumped onto the Portage trail, broken trail a bit, scouted it out. Seems to think that it's gonna be challenging, which is unfortunate, but we're just gonna go for it.
Temagami is known for some big pines, and that is a big pine. Wow. There is Wolf Lake. We're going to be seeing it from a bit of a different angle this time. And This is actually looking like a pretty nice place for us to set up. Max and Xander over there, and me and Nate anywhere around here. This will be home for the night.
That one actually grab.
Oh, there's two little ones here.
Yeah.
Nate faithfully setting up the tent. I don't know, man. Frostbite hurts like real bad. My toes. When was this? The one on a loan, I got it in my fingertips. When I worked in mineral exploration, I got it in my toe. But the one time I got it was in Angava, taking the most epic picture of the Northern Lights in front of a lit up igloo in the coldest weather ever.
Yeah.
And it was just like worth it. But I stayed up all night with my thumb in the air just throbbing, man. Like horribly painful. Basically it just broke off once it was like healed. Skin just was dead. How do you explain?
You could have a snowmobile.
Right. Okay. We've made it to this point of the day. We're in the tent again. I've switched to my camcorder because I broke my mirrorless today, and I just took off my boot, and honestly it weighs like 6 pounds. I gave it to Nate and he couldn't even carry it for the life of him, and he just burst into laughter. It's so heavy. It's been full of water since this morning. I'll try to show you this here and share this wonderment with you. I'm so soaked to hell. This, oh, that's the weight. Alright, you watching? That. That's what I've been walking around in all day. Since this morning. They're still heavy. I'm doing my best to dry those out with a fire, but I don't know if I feel like staying up all night and feeding the fire, because you know you don't get as good a sleep if you have to keep waking up. So might just be dry them out as best I can and just stick the wet liners on tomorrow. We're more or less backtracking now back to Magagamasi, but there's probably a chance to bushwhack to a snowmobile trail, because the big concern now is like crazy amounts of slush. Like that warm weather just brings out the slush big time. It just helps the snow on top insulate what's on the bottom, and just melts it even more. And if we're just walking the whole way in slush, and it was very slow and very, very physically taxing, we might have to just find some alternate means, which would be to try to bushwhack to a snowmobile trail again, if possible. So that would be our kind of plan B. But as of now, we're back on the lakes and the Portage trails, and trying to slowly but surely make our way back to our vehicles. "5 a.m. comes around pretty early in these parts. We have a weather report saying it's going to be 5 degrees, which is crazy, and rain. So we just don't even know what to make of that. We're just concerned and bewildered. But we'll have to deal with it. We hope it just doesn't make everything like completely untravelable slush. So we'll see. But anyways, it's time to get coffee up.
Oh man, I could have slept for another hour. Forever, man. The call of the barred owl is heard. Hear that? Owl call?
Oh yeah, there he is.
Coffee time. Putting hot water in my thermos at night. Maybe I should actually heat this up this morning though. Do you need water for your thermos this morning? Yeah. Still hot. Just heat it up as much as possible, you know? Oh, here we go. Here's a message from, from Torbear. Just on the intel here about there's a another snowmobile trail that if the slush gets really bad, the snowmobile trail is about 200 meters west of Sylvester Lake for a majority of it, but by the time you get to the Chiniguchi River, it'll be more like 750 meters west. This is my bag that was on the back of Nate's toboggan yesterday. Caused by the weird thaw.
Let's pull up where Jim is.
Cheese rolls. Looks like it was a little colder than -4 last night, eh?
I think so, the way things have firmed up.
Yeah, maybe a bit. Judging by the fact that the husky is shivering, you know? Good boy. Very cold. Huskies are very cold. What can you just listening to some wolf calls.
We got that, Nate, due next month.
Just fucking no problem. Mine's 12.
Gotta say, I've been loving this toboggan in these custom tanks by Whiskey Jack Outdoor Co.
Come here. Good boy. Good boy. He's a sled dog. Hey, stop goofing up. Good boy. Well, that's it for camp today. We're going to start moving. We're going to cut across Wolf Lake. It's still about -12 out. So we're hoping that as at least for the time being frozen up a little bit more of the slush. A little bit of a different route on Wolf. Beautiful day, excited to get out there. And we're gonna tackle the portages into Sylvester today. At that point, Magagamasi could be just an absolute slush monster with the +5 temperatures on the forecast tomorrow. And we're gonna have to assess exactly what we're gonna do there. If there's potentially another trail
that we might have to bushwhack to get into that snowmobile trail, to travel the majority of the distance of Magagamasi in a roundabout way back to where our vehicles are. But might be a bit of a game time decision. We'll see. Hard to believe it's going to be +5 tomorrow in the depth of winter here when it's as cold as it is right now, but it is what it is. So far, so good. Out on Wolf, I think snow conditions are a little lower on the lake due to wind and some melting, and then -12 is all it took to freeze it up. Man, we could do 12K a day in these conditions on the lakes for sure. Might not be frozen deep enough for snowmobiles, but we've barely hit any slush yet, so that's super uplifting. Still, tomorrow that warmth is coming, and you know, to bushwhack to the trail, to the snowmobile trail from Magagamasi is like 800 meters and just a sheer bushwhack. So we might play it safe, take the good conditions while we can, and still get off the big lake so we're not literally trapped by slush tomorrow. But we'll see. This is sure freaking enjoyable. Some of the best traveling conditions on the lakes yet, and a beautiful day. What do you think, Max?
It's magnificent. Let's
totally.
hope it lasts.
Right? I don't think it will. Beef jerky. Well, it's great travel conditions for the most part, but we saw some snowmobile tracks on Wolf Lake. There's the snowmobile trails. You can kind of see them there, branching off this way. It looks like two sleds broke trail from a snowmobile trail, which isn't too far away into the bush. And so I thought, why don't we just follow those sled tracks? That way we have a broken trail. It means we're not going to see Sylvester, but we've decided that trying to face Magagamasi when it's +5 degrees tomorrow is just going to be a slush monster and a disaster. And even though the snowmobile trail has a lot of uphills, it's not going to be borderline unnavigable with our feet full of water and all our stuff getting soaked. So yeah, we figured instead of bushwhacking, I mean, these snowmobile tracks here obviously lead back to the main trail. They must be coming from a snowmobile trail that's about half a click off in the bush that way, and broken trail for us to get there. So that's the plan. You can see here, this is our trail from today. That way, but there's our old trail from the way in. So we backtracked on it a bit and we camped over there after skirting these narrows from Wolf and Sylvester. So we're just going to jump on a snowmobile trail just like the Ojibwe did 500 years ago. Anyways, yeah, beautiful freaking day. It's going to be a kind of a shame to leave these lakes, but it's a wise call to make. And when you're heading out on an expedition like the one we're on here, and there's a lot of question marks around weather and ice conditions and all that kind of stuff. It's important to have a bit of a plan B or even a plan C. and you know what I mean, just for safety, and something you can do if what you're doing isn't possible. And that's what we've done, and this trip's kind of been just about figuring it out as we go along, you know, kind of coming to a roadblock and figuring out how we can continue on and still have a great trip, explore more country, how we can get away from sketchy ice and deal with this crazy winter we're having with these crazy warm spells and fluctuations and all that. And so yeah, this is not our original plan, but it's something we can do, and it's something you want to be aware of. What other trails are there? Snowmobile trails in your area? Are there other options for a plan B? And that's kind of what we're utilizing right now, and it's gonna make a big difference tomorrow, trying to trek down Magagamasi in literally slush almost up to our knees, so borderline water it'll probably be. So anyways, gonna wave goodbye to Wolf Lake. Bye, Wolf Lake. And we're gonna head into the bush, and fingers crossed these snowmobile tracks lead to the trail, and just start giving her. With at any rate, we should be back to the vehicles tomorrow afternoon. These snowmobiles peeled out here in slush, did a big loop around Wolf Lake. Looks like there's two of them. So when they're riding through the bush, they obviously found a way. Riding through a bush, they're going to be riding in single file because it's kind of tight when you're riding through the bush, which means they've probably made a decent enough trail. So we won't have to break trail. We're still going to have some ups and downs and challenges for sure though. A spruce grouse.
The Giardia made you lactose.
Yeah.
And then you're convincing us to drink all this thick water.
Well, I mean,
If I can't have food, no
look,
one can.
the best horse riders, back riders, have fallen off the most times, right? Bunch of snowmobiles just went by us. I guess we're getting further to the road and more people out for a ride, knowing that the weather's going to be terrible tomorrow. But we are making some amazing time on this trail. Just so much faster, even though it goes you know, around. It doesn't go directly where we want it to go, a bit of a roundabout way, but just because we're not dealing with the slushy travel conditions, I'm sure now the lakes have softened up. We're thinking that we might be able to avoid the day of +5 and rain that's bizarrely in the forecast, potentially avoid getting soaked, and just get out of here today, which would be, I don't know, a very long day, probably 18K or something like that. But I think the consensus is if the weather stays good and if we keep making good time and are feeling good, we're gonna go for it.
This is so well graded right now, it feels like I'm just pulling nothing. It's effortless cruising.
to the road and ahead of schedule too. Basically, we avoided the horrible rain and slushy conditions and +5 temperatures that would have basically made travel very challenging for us tomorrow. And we pushed and we booted it about 17 kilometers to get back to the road. So where we're standing right now, we can drive our cars to. We've left our toboggans here. We're gonna walk back, grab our vehicles and come pick them up because we don't need to drag them anymore. And that's it. So our adventure has ended at the end of day 9 after a long 17K trek. Heading out this year, really weird winter, ice conditions and any moving water questionable. We knew what we were getting into. We were pretty bummed that we couldn't do our original mission, but we came up with a great secondary mission and then another backup plan after that. So definitely a good idea when you're heading out in questionable situations to always have a plan B and a plan C, and we sure did this time, and I think we did a great job. We used our own kind of ingenuity and wit and basically pulled out what turned out to be a great trip, and definitely was not an easy trip with the conditions. Every day was a challenge. Every day was a physical challenge. Managed to get into some lake trout, which was awesome. Managed to see some beautiful, beautiful country as well, and got into some remote backcountry lakes in the Temagami wilderness, huge pine trees. The Portage trails and the ice threw challenges up at us that were tough at the time, but looking back on them, like some of them were just amazing. Checking the thin ice, having to spot the toboggans as we skirt the edge of a cliff, and then even one of our toboggans going into the drink into a slop puddle, and all gathering together and pulling it out of there before any issues happen. So really great bunch of guys. This is the only second time I've tripped with these guys. I've known Nate for a long time, Xandar and Max. I've known them just only from one other trip and a meetup we did with some other social media and YouTubers in that last year, and you know, I had a good feeling that they'd be in, and I knew they were hard workers, and I was definitely right about that. You can check out Xandar and Max Budnick are both throwing videos up on their respective channels. Nate Muskoka is going to be throwing up some cool videos and a lot of his amazing photography up at Nate Muskoka on Instagram. And I think overall we need a big round of applause for North. You did it, North. North is only 1.5, and he learned a lot and he crushed it out there. So amazing trip, and hopefully next year we can give a shot to cross Temagami from Magagamasi to Goganda, and hopefully have some better conditions. So yeah, you might see me back here in the not too distant future, but until that time, super excited to go home, see my wife and kids, and start planning the next adventure.